Welcome to True Crime with Strategic Eyes.
Strategic back again. All right, guys, I got a real good show for you guys today. I mean, this is going to be an amazing show. And I'm going to be honest with you. I heard some of this stuff before. We all heard this before, but I've never really taken the time to process this as I have after the research crew laid it out for me. So big shout out to the Strategic Eyes research crew. This is a real thing. This is not a gimmick or, something that sounds cool. Like, we literally have a dedicated group of people who really believe in a mission and take time out of their busy day. These are very intelligent and accomplished people who take time out of their busy day to do research for the show, research that they understand that due to my personal life, my profession, I don't always have the time to do. And sometimes we go over things and we miss things. We miss it. Why? Because we're human. Because just like when you're conducting a complex investigation, you got to have a team of detectives working on that investigation. There's no solo running. There's no free balling, if you want to call it that. When it comes to complex investigations, you have to get different looks at the target, different input, different eyes on the subject. And this is what a research crew gives you. Different eyes on the subject. Now, we covered this. We spoke about it before, but we didn't talk about it with the vigor and the understanding of how we're going to talk about it today. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this case is over. Now, of course, we know the case is over. I'm not here trying to clickbait you, okay? I'm not interested in that. If I don't have nothing to talk about, you don't get a show from me. I only talk about probative things that matter to this case and matter to you. This case is over because Stephan Stearns has already confessed to it. But I haven't heard any other creator, and that doesn't say much because I don't watch every creator. I don't have time to watch every other show. So if you've heard this before, I do apologize. But I don't think you've heard it quite the way that we're going to present it to you today, because once again, Stephan Stearns gave a full-throated confession already. And I covered it and I said, oh, look how he said this. Oh, okay, moving along. But I didn't say, oh my God, listen to what he just said. Because, ladies and gentlemen, what opened my eyes is when I read the transcript by the research crew, when they actually wrote it out for me, printed it out, then sent me to Grizzly and say, read the subtitles. That's when it sunk in. So today, guys, I'm going to present to you something that has already been played for you. You heard it already on True Crime or Strategic. You've seen it on Grizzly True Crime's channel. We're going to be using some of Grizzly's video. You also saw it on Plunder before, too. But this is the moment that we really dissect what he says. And ladies and gentlemen, he gives a full-throated confession. The case is over. The case is over. So we know that Stephan Stearns' defense team watches the show. We know that. They shouted us out in court. Big shout out to the sister. I'm very proud of you, sister. You're a very accomplished attorney. As a black man, I got to tell you, thank you for being a role model to all the young black girls out there. She doing her thing in the defense attorney court. I got mad love for you. I don't like your client, but I respect you, what you do, Stephan Stearns' attorney. Because like I told you guys on this channel 1,000 times, defense attorneys are the true heroes of our criminal justice system. When they do a good job, we can lock these people away forever, and they can't say that we weren't fair to them. They can't appeal us for the next decade. They can't say they got bad trials. When a defense attorney does their job and we still find that bad guy guilty, the case is shut. And we don't ever have to think about Stephan Stearns again. So I applaud. Let's give them a big shout out. Let's do it. I applaud Stephan Stern's defense team with all the hard work they're putting in. Because when we find Stephan Stern's guilty, probably partly because of this confession we're about to go through right now, I don't ever want to hear about Stephan Stern's again until the day they decide is his date to meet old Sparky. Now, ladies and gentlemen, first, I want to play a selection of Stephan Stern's leading up to this full-throated confession. I want you to hear a little bit of how Stephan Stern's constantly gives us baby confessions, and then I want to play the full confession. And I also want to play how he characterizes his relationship with Maddie and Jen Soto, and then I'm going to play that full-throated confession that I'm not going to say we missed. I didn't miss it. Plunder, Grizzly, all these folks didn't miss it. Maybe they even covered it and I just missed the show. But I just have not heard anybody full-throatedly call this out as what it is, which is a full confession. If somebody else has covered this, then, I'm not going to apologize because obviously I don't know about it, but certainly I'm happy. That's good that somebody else was able to catch this and understand the gravity by which this statement holds, right? So let's keep going. Guys, check this out. This is Stephan Stern's giving one of his half-hearted confessions before we get to the full-throated confession.
No, which is why I keep saying that I'm not sure that there's any one person, honestly, to blame. But they're certainly trying to blame me.
Stearns is not only accused of killing Maddie.
So that's one of the half-hearted confessions, right? Now I want to go over to him blaming Jen Soto. Guys, listen, stay with me here, because you guys know I don't lead people up for letdowns. Now, listen to his characterization of his relationship with Maddie and Jen Soto. Let's listen to that.
Here, this way for me to wake her up when she's near me, and it's like we didn't have any privacy, and just didn't have any space to ourselves. And she would suggest, well, maybe you should go sleep in bed instead. And I was thinking, it's like a twin bed, and I'm 6+ feet, and no, why would I want to do that instead of sleeping in our king size bed? I should have broken up with her a long time ago and just distanced myself.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Should have would have could have. Hindsight's always 20/20.
Yeah, it seems to be my superpower. Useless superpower. Captain Hindsight.
Well, you certainly didn't appreciate it when I told you that.
No, I certainly didn't. Typical, kid trying to make their own way or have their own ideas and realizing only too late, how valuable their parents' advice really was.
Now, in that one, he's kind of like blaming, I should have got myself out of that. I'm going to go back a little bit further so we can get to the part where he's kind of talking about his relationship with Jen and Maddie. Let's listen to that.
She was aware that I had certain feelings towards me.
Yeah. Well, then why would she send her in there to sleep with you?
She used to joke about it, call it an electrocomplex. She used to joke and say, you better not leave me for my daughter when she's older, things like that. Laugh about it, and they used to both ogle over me and comment on me and talk about me together and giggle and talk about how nice I looked, and it was not an appropriate situation.
Right. So here's this psychopathic pedophile rationalizing. This is him rationalizing without saying it. The justification for the relationship he had. It's almost like they knew what was happening. They made this happen. Jen knew it. Jen fostered it. They both were cracking jokes at the same time. Jen knew that this was inappropriate. She didn't care. It was funny to her. It was cute to her. And yeah, it was inappropriate, but Maddie was participating. Maddie was just as into me as I was into her. That's what he's kind of saying. It's what the pedophiles always do. This is how they rationalize their bad behavior. This is how they're able to bypass the internal morals that we're all born with. Whether you want to believe it or not, I believe human beings are born with a certain sense of morality. And in order for but we can overcome that. As with anything in human condition, you can overcome it. You can even overcome pain. Look at women. The most painful thing that I'm told, because I don't know, obviously, that a human being can ever go through is giving birth. I've heard from women who have been stabbed and shot and other things, burned, and car accidents, and they'll tell you, hey, man, that was painful, but it still was not as painful as when I gave birth. Yet, the human body is able to overcome that pain. Yet, a woman, most women, not all, but most women are willing to have multiple kids, even though they know that at the end of that 9 months of beauty of that child growing inside of them, that they're going to be met with the most unbearable pain that they've ever experienced in their life, times 1, times 2, times 3, times 4, however many kids they decide to have, yet they still are willing to do it, to endure it. Well, same thing, same exact rationalization. The brain programs itself to get past that, right? Well, and it's capable of getting past it. Well, these guys are capable of bypassing the morals that has been imbued in them from birth by rationalizing it in a sense that it's not their fault, that they're not the one that's making this happen. They're just going with the flow, right? So it kind of like mitigates the blame. It's not entirely my fault. Sure, I should have did better. Sure, I should have made better decisions, but she wanted it too. You know, she tempted me. She made it available, etc. But we're not going to go off on a tangent of that, even though we already went on one. This is what I wanted you to hear. Listen to this. This is the full-throated confession that Stephan Stearns gave. Let me make sure that I have all my timestamps lined up. I want to make sure I got these timestamps lined up. Boom. All right, let's do it from here.
She was talking in a normal voice, you know. The only thing that showed any emotion at all was jiggling her leg, but she did that anyway. So,
I want you guys to pay attention to the subtitles. You've already seen this beautiful picture of this little angel who lost her life. Focus on the subtitle. And don't look at my handsome face, please. I know I'm a little distracting. Focus on the subtitles, ladies and gentlemen. Focus on those subs.
I just was anxious. Yeah, she was anxious because she was lying to her teeth. That's okay.
Don't get your hopes up for any conspiracy theories or vast conspiracies. Just understand that anything I did was not done while being within my rational mind. I had snapped.
Anything I did was not done while being in my rational mind. They're talking about the death of Maddie. He said, don't get your hopes up on any conspiracy theories. Anything I did was not done with my rational mind. I had snapped at that point. This is murder he's talking about right here, ladies and gentlemen. This man is confessing to murder. Listen to that again.
Anything I did was not done while being within my rational mind. I had snapped at that point. And I wish I had done the correct thing to begin with. You know, I wish I had run downstairs and shaken her awake and called 911 and all that.
I wish I had done the correct thing to begin with. I wish I had run downstairs and shaken her awake and called 911 and all of that. I'm starting to believe, ladies and gentlemen, because we don't have no evidence to piece together the motive by which he would have ended Maddie at this day, at that time, in that particular moment. We do know that Stearns is into BDSM. I've said that a million times, and people who are new to the channel say, well, Strategic, how do you know he was into BDSM? I've never heard that before. Well, remember, we've been covering this topic for a year and change now. We're now approaching a year and a half of covering Madeline Soto. And a year ago, it came out that Stephan Stearns was on a website called FetLife. And this website specializes in fetishes, and one of the most popular, all type of fetishes on FetLife, but one of the most popular fetishes on FetLife is BDSM. And a part of BDSM is submission and is, for the YouTube moderators, fingers around the neck area, if you know what I mean, applying pressure, if you're listening on a podcast. That life is all about that. His name was Sustanet. It has many different meanings. It might have had a different meaning for Stearns, but one of the Oxford Dictionary definitions of sustanet is to endure. To endure what? If you're on a BDSM website where part of that fetish is pain and your name defines as to endure pain, one might be able to surmise that Stephan Stearns might have been into some of that stuff. We also knew from ex-girlfriends who came forward and did interviews that Stephan Stearns was into having intercourse with unconscious individuals or people who are pretending to be unconscious. I think it is highly likely that Stearns was engaging in rough play with Maddie, and it went too far. Probably with a combination of her using drugs in terms of being prescribed those medications. Some of them made her sleepy, whatever. The over prescription of medication that Stearns was caught by Jen Soto doing to Maddie in the past, to the point where Jen had to actually check him and say, "Did you do this? Why did you do this? What's going on here?" Over prescribing her sleeping medication. If Maddie was doped up, if she was sleeping the whole nine, she probably could not tell him, "You're going too far, uncle," or whatever safe word. I mean, obviously there's no safe words, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to paint a picture here, so please excuse me. But she's not able to tell him stop, or even show him that she's losing her breath. And I think it's a possibility that he took too much of that breath. Maybe even unbeknownst to him, because of the state that she was in. The state of unconsciousness she was in, maybe from the medication that she was taking. And then when he realized what he did, he panicked. That's in line with this. And he's confessing. He's saying, "I just wish I had done the correct thing to begin with. You know, I wish I had run downstairs and shaken her awake and called 911 and all that." But what did he say before that, ladies and gentlemen?
In a normal voice, you know, the only thing that showed any emotion at all was jiggling her leg, but she did that anyway. So
Yeah,
I guess yeah, she was anxious because she was lying through her teeth. That's okay.
Don't get your hopes up for any conspiracy theories or vast conspiracies. Just understand that anything I did was not done while being within my rational mind. I had snapped at that point. And I wish I had done the correct thing to begin with. You know, I wish I had run downstairs and...
I don't know how things work in Florida. I don't work for Florida. I am not a certified law enforcement officer in any city, county, town, hamlet, incorporated or unincorporated territory of the state of Florida. But I know New York. And if I am working this case, and this statement was either given to me in an interrogation room or said on a jail phone call, because that's admissible in court, this is admissible in court, I would be doing backflips. We would be toasting. We would be screaming, "Got you, we got that ass," or the whole nine, because this is a confession. That's a confession. Most confessions aren't going to be, I did it, take me away, throw away the key. That's not how you get confessions. Confessions are always mitigated. And sometimes if you really want to get the full confession, you got to keep beating away at their mitigated confession. Oh, well, I didn't do it, but I was there. Oh, well, I didn't do it, but I had the gun. Oh, well, I didn't do it, but, I just put it in his head, but I didn't pull the trigger. Oh, well, all right, well, I pulled the trigger, but he was still alive. And then somebody else shot him. All right, well, I shot him twice and nobody else shot him, but I didn't hide the body. Somebody else hid the body. Oh, well, I shot him twice. He's dead and I hid the body and I did it. And I'm sorry. Can I get some mercy, some leniency? All right. That's how long it takes to get a confession. This is as good as any confession I have ever gotten in my entire career, and I've got many confessions. He just said it one more time, and then I'm going to bed, and I'm going to let you guys go to bed and let you be the judge in the comment section. One more time. Listen to this.
Being within my rational mind, I had snapped at that point. For the conspiracy theories or vast conspiracies, just understand that anything I did was not done while being within my rational mind. I had snapped at that point.
Anything I did was not done while being in my rational mind. I had snapped at that point. What more could you ask for? Like, this should be all over the news. This should have been front headline news in the Orlando Chronicle. I just made that up. There's no newspaper called the Orlando Chronicle. The Kissimmee Gazette. Maybe there's a newspaper called that. I don't know, but I thought I just made it up off the top of my head. Sounds like something that would exist, right? The Kissimmee Gazette. This should be all over News Orlando 35. This is a full-throated confession that he gave. Shame on me for not truly internalizing this. I think I said he kind of like, he just gave it up a little bit, but I didn't really go hard. Big shout out to the research crew one more time. Full-throated confession. Like, I don't even know what else we got to do on this case. I don't know what else for us to do on this case. He just gave it to us.
Emotion at all was jiggling her leg, but she did that anyway. So, I just anxious. Yeah, she was anxious because she was lying to her teeth. That's okay.
Don't get your hopes up for the conspiracy theories or vast conspiracies. Just understand that anything I did was not done while being within my rational mind. I had snapped at that point. And I wish I had done the correct thing to begin with. I wish I had run downstairs and shaken her awake and called 911 and all that.
Well, I wish you had too. I wish you had too. Maybe she could have been saved, but
she was beyond that.
She was beyond that.
Okay.
Now he's describing the state of the body. He gave us his actions, where he described why he did what he did. I wasn't in my right mind. And then he described the state of her body. Mommy says, well, maybe she'd have been saved. He says she was beyond that. What more do you want? The homicide portion of his trial is done. See, Sam, okay, you got to prove that it's his, it's on his phone. We know it's his, of course, but you got to go through the motions, electronic data, the geolocation, the passwords that was entered for him to get there. And look, it's his. Look at the pictures. He's in it. All right. You want to go through those motions? Fine. But the homicide is done. Once this is played for a jury, it's over. It's done. There's nothing to see here.
When someone's that ice cold and just gone.
She was in a different part of the house?
Yeah.
He described her body, meaning he was the last person to see her body when someone is ice cold. He's describing her as already gone. Full-throated confession, ladies and gentlemen. Full-throated confession.
She wasn't with you?
Well, she had gone to be with me earlier in the night, but I left her alone for quite a while I was sort of just walking around.
And now he goes, because he's catching himself. He's like, oh, shoot, this is a recorded line and I gave too much. I screwed up. So now he's going to try and walk it back.
Haunting around the house like I do.
He's not going to walk it back fully, though, but he's going to try and make it seem like just leave it in a mystifying kind of position, whereas maybe somebody else did this. There's a possibility after he gave that full-throated confession. Remember, you can't take these things back because it's a jury of your peers. And nobody said that those juries have to be an idiot or fall for your nonsense, right? So after he gives a full-throated confession, then he tries to leave it, throw it up in the air like, well, I wasn't there the whole time.
Sometimes I go out for walks at night. Or...
You know what? While he's telling his story, I'm sorry. I know we talking about something serious, but he just needs his background music.
I just sit on the couch and just get around my phone or just, I don't sleep all the night, especially when I've got to be up early and do something the next day.
Yeah.
And that was the case. So every time I realized anything was wrong, it was...
She was in a different part of the house when you found that out.
She was still upstairs.
Oh, she was upstairs.
We got it, people. Full-throated confession. Full-throated confession. Just understand that anything I did was not done while being in my rational mind. I had snapped at that point. The question is, why did you snap? Did you snap because you were engaged in BDSM? Did you snap because Maddie had told you that she had a boyfriend, or a boy rather, that she was interested in? Did you snap because of jealousy, because of crushes? Did you snap because she thought she was preggo? Even though she may not have been preggo, we don't know. Nobody has seen Maddie's autopsy. The only documents that have been released are serology tests, DNA reports. That's it. DNA reports for evidence that was seized, for swabs that were taken. It is illegal. It is illegal in most states in America, not just in Florida, to release autopsy reports for minors. So there is no conclusive evidence that Madeline Soto was not preggo. But as I've said since the beginning of me spearheading the possibility that Maddie could have been preggo and that could have been a motive for Stephan Stearns taking her life, I have always said that either A, she was preggo, or B, she thought she was preggo. Remember, she is a very young person who is being forced to engage in very adult activities. And so she's not going to know her body. And her body is naturally changing as she's getting older. She's not going to know her body. She's not going to understand what's the difference between a late period or hormonal changes or, pains in her body or whatever, or changes in her body that is not preggo, that is just simply her growing up. So she could have been mistaken and believed that she was preggo. And if he thought she was preggo, even though she wasn't preggo, and he took her life because he thought she was preggo, the motive was still pregnancy. So 1, she was preggo, or 2, she thought she was preggo. Either way, we're right. Either way, we're right. And if 3, she was not preggo and Stephan Stearns didn't think she was preggo, then we're happy to be wrong. Because nobody's wishing that on Maddie. Especially not to just be right on YouTube. No, nobody's wishing that on Maddie. But what is the motive? We don't know. There's an infinite possibility as to what set this man off. And we just don't know. But what we do know is that he said when he did it that he was not of his rational mind and that he had snapped. And there was no saving her because she was too far gone and she was cold to the touch. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a full-throated confession. I appreciate you guys immensely for joining me today. Make sure you like and subscribe. You have to hit that like button so you can support this channel. Without that like button, this show will only be shown to the people who already subscribe to my channel. We want the whole world to hear Stephan Stern's confession. Like, subscribe, hit the like button, comment in the comment section. Say anything. Say where you're from. I'm from Cincinnati. I'm from Nova Scotia. I'm from South Africa. I'm from Brazil. I'm from Great Britain. Just say something in that comment section for engagement. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Strategic is out of here. Peace.